Well, welcome back to Bruce Hurst Field here, where we got a little bit of a surprise that we were going to start a few minutes early, and we got underway about 4:45 or so. We welcome everybody here as we are going to pick up action in the bottom of the first inning. Spanish Fork is the visiting team, and they had the first two hitters, Tate Newman and Andrew Pintar, both flew out to center field. And then it was Cy Nielsen would draw a walk, and then Dylan Lee would also fly out to center field. And that's how the top of the first inning ended. So no score. Timpanogos coming up to bat as Mason Nielsen, number 18, will go to work here, and Tyson Hines, the center fielder, will lead it off. And the first pitch in there for a called strike one to Hines. So I would imagine that part of the decision to go early was with the anticipated drive that both of these schools have, as the 0-1 pitch misses for a ball, 1 strike. But I think it kind of caught a lot of people by surprise, the early start time, the 1-1 pitch, and Hines goes down the first baseline, up and past Dylan Lee into right field. Hines takes the turnaround first, and he will go into second with a stand-up leadoff double, and Timpanogos is in business to start right off the bat. Just a sharply hit ball as Davis Kirby will come to the plate now, the shortstop. So Davis Kirby now stands in, number 23. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. And they'll appeal over to first, and Hines did touch the first base bag. You can appeal stuff like that to make sure the runner touched the bag, and the base umpire will end up making the call, and right there, the base umpire says no, he did touch first base, and so nobody out, and Davis Kirby at the plate. The pitch on its way to Kirby's as a soft ground ball to short. Andrew Pintar double clutches the throw and throws out Kirby, and there's one away in the inning. However, that does move Tyson Hines down 90 feet, and Timpanogos has the leading run sitting over at third base as Derek Aquinto will come to the plate. Well, Don fans are very familiar with Derek Aquinto, as Aquinto has pitched pretty frequently against them, and including was the starting pitcher in last year's state championship game. The Spanish Fork had some mixed results against, and the first pitch fouled away. The Dons in that ball game dropped a 9-7 decision in the state championship game. However, when you really go back and look at it, they were able to knock around Aquinto pretty well. They put 7 runs up on the board, and that one just misses for a ball, and it evens the count up at 1-1. The biggest thing that hurt the Dons in that ball game was the bats of Timpanogos with that senior-laden group with Casey Hamilton, Tyler Cornish, Connor Halford, Jake Brooksby. This is a group that hit the baseball and hit it well. That's a high pop-up down the left field line, and it's going to go foul as Andrew Pintar gave it a look, as did the starting left fielder for Timpanogos. That's Carson Chappell back in the lineup here for the second game. The 1-2 pitch on its way, swung out and missed, and Mason Nielsen blows the fastball past Aquinto for the first out of the inning. Or for the second out of the inning, I mean. And now that's going to bring up the catcher, that's Spencer Olson. Olson, one of the pieces off last year's squad that didn't catch a ton, with Jake Brooksby mainly being the guy behind the dish, and the first pitch misses high and away for ball one. 1 ball and no strikes here on Spencer Olson, the catcher. Timpanogos wearing their blue tops with the white stripe across the chest say Timpanogos, as the breaking ball gets in there for a ball, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. And the 2-0 pitch misses high, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. The count here on Spencer Olson, the cleanup hitter for Timpanogos. As we have 2 outs in the bottom of the first, no score between Timpanogos and Spanish Fork, and that one's right there on the outside corner and in there for a strike as Olson was taking all the way, and it's 3 balls and no strikes to count. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and Olson pops this one sky high, giving it a look down the line as the first baseman and right fielder, but nobody will come away with it. As a defensive change in the starting lineup with Cy Nielsen this afternoon playing in the center field spot. Riley Hess not getting the start as Olson pulls this one foul down the third baseline. Brock Johnson will get the start out in right field for Spanish Fork. Three balls and 2 strikes the count here on Spencer Olson. 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. Timpanogos threatening with the runner over at third base. And the pitch on its way home, fouled straight back to the screen. We'll do the 3-2 pitch over again. So again, the overcast clouds moving into St. George. It's really been like this the entire afternoon. It's very cool, much cooler than what we saw yesterday when we were at Desert Hills. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Olson hits it down the right field line and sends this one foul. And we'll do the 3-2 over again as Tennyson Pay in the on deck circle runs out a new baseball out to our home plate umpire. Infield back for Spanish Fork. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs here, ready to go. And the 3-2 pitch on its way home is grounded right back up the middle. Getting there is Pintar, but it goes in between his glove and into center field for a base hit. The hand in the glove, I think he went to make the quick transfer, and that will give Timpanogos an early 1-0 lead right here as Spencer Olson, they're going to credit Olson there with the base hit. That brings in Hines, and now it will bring up Tennyson Pay, the left fielder. 1-0 Timpanogos here in the bottom of the first inning. And Tennyson Pay stands in. First pitch on its way, swung out and missed as Pay took a big cut there and came up empty. You have a speed-up runner over at first base running for Spencer Olson, so he can go in the dugout and get the gear on. Fastball stays high. I think that it might be number 26, Jackson Bird. And it is Jackson Bird, number 26, as the throw came over. So we'll get Bird running here as the pitch comes inside and tight to Pay. One nothing Timpanogos, 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. Mason Nielsen trying to work through this one here for Spanish Fork. Trying to limit the damage here in the top of the first inning. Here's the pitch on its way. That one's been foul tipped off the glove there of Josh Cowden, who is back behind the plate here. He DH'd in the first game for Spanish Fork. Back behind the dish here for game number 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. And the 2-2 pitch on its way home, high, ball 3. The count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes here on Tennyson Pay. Once again, this game does have a 2-hour and 10-minute time limit from first pitch, so no new inning can start past 6:55. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fouled straight back, hello, and that one just came up here to the press box and hit off the window. The netting doesn't fully go all the way to cover the press box here at Bruce Hurst Field, so That one came up. If you were with us yesterday and we were at Desert Hills, they have a netting that comes back, and I was right behind the netting. A line drive came, and boy, I was quickly moving. I left my glove in Provo. That one misses high for ball 4, and Tennyson Pay will draw a walk here. Now bring up the third baseman, Carter Wild. Wild will stand in here from the left side. Mason Nielsen trying just to get out of the first inning here and have the damage be limited here. Timpanogos not as experienced at the varsity level as they've been in years past. Another young group for head coach Kim Nelson. There's a ground ball hit past the first baseman. That one will roll foul. So it'll be a strike there on Wild. No balls and a strike on Carter Wild. Paxton Richards, the right fielder, the first baseman in the on-deck circle. Mason Nielsen ready to go from the stretch. Checks the runner, comes in. That one in the dirt for a ball, and the count evens up here. 1 ball and 1 strike on Paxton Richards. Two outs here in the bottom of the first inning. 1 run in for Timpanogos. The pitch on its way. Wild swings and misses that one. And it's 1-2 the count here on Carter Wild. Tyson Hines led off the inning for Timpanogos with a double right over the first base bag, out of the reach of Dylan Lee, as the 1-2 pitch misses off the plate for a ball. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. He would come in to score on the base hit by Spencer Olson. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one's lifted out into left center field. That could split the gap, and it will, all the way to the wall, as Jackson Bird will score. Getting the green light around third is Tennyson Pay. He will score, and with 1 swing of the bat, it's 3-0 Timpanogos here after the shot to deep left center field gives the T-Wolves some early run support here for their starting pitcher, Tyler Thomas. A 2-run double for Carter Wild, and now Paxton Richards will come to the plate. Timpanogos lost a 5-4 decision earlier today to Palo Verde, a team out of the Las Vegas area. And the pitch on its way, high fastball, ball 1. It's 1-0 here on Paxton Richards. The runs that have scored came with 2 outs in the inning. Spencer Olson was at the plate with 2 outs, and Mason Nielsen just having a tough time getting out here of this one, getting out of this inning with no damage done. Now he's trying to just make sure that a crooked number doesn't come up on the scoreboard. Pitch on its way, swung out, popped up. Over towards first, Dylan Lee will give it a look. In foul territory, he will make the catch, and that will end the inning right there. But the damage is done. 3 runs in for Timpanogos at the end of 1. Timpanogos 3, Spanish Fork 0. The Red Rock Classic on Spanish Fork 17.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Christiansen, and Wise.
Well, a very good crowd here at Bruce Hurst Field. Lots of red and lots of blue for Timpanogos and Spanish Fork, but a very heavy Spanish Fork contingent making the trip down from Utah County here into St. George for this one. A very nice crowd settling in here to cheer on the Dons as they look to try to see if they can split and go 2-2 here at the Red Rock Classic after losing on Thursday night and then coming back and losing last night. They won their earlier game today, looking to try to see if they can get back on a positive side of one here, as Josh Cowden, the catcher, will stand in and lead it off for Spanish Fork. The tough part is already putting yourself early on in a hole. Put some pressure here on your bats to try to get something going. Josh Cowden will stand in ready to go to start the top of the second inning, with Timpanogos leading Spanish Fork by a score of 3-0. The pitch on its way misses low for a ball. It's 1 ball and no strikes on Josh Cowden. Not too long ago, this would have been a regular season kind of a ball game here, as the 1-0 pitch misses for ball 2, and it's 2 balls and no strikes here on Josh Cowden. This would have been a matchup that you would have saw right around time for the playoffs, as Cowden rolls this one over towards the Timpanogos bench, and it will be 2 balls and a strike here on Josh Cowden. Dylan Hall in the on-deck circle will get ready to hit next right here. If the inning continues, well, the inning will continue, obviously, as the 2-1 pitch in there for a called strike, and the count evens up here. 2 balls and 2 strikes here on Josh Cowden. And the pitch on its way inside and tight, ball 3, and the count goes to 3-2 here on Josh Cowden. Cowden ready to go here from the left side of the plate as the 3-2 pitch gets ready to come home. Time called by Cowden. He'll step out of the batter's box. The pace of the first game going really well. Both pitchers got in a pretty good groove, and the 3-2 pitch misses outside, ball 4, and Josh Cowden draws himself a leadoff walk here to start the second inning, and that will bring up Dylan Hall, the second baseman. We'll see here, but I would imagine we'll have someone come in. Josh Cowden's going to stay in the game and run. Oftentimes you would see a speed-up runner come in to run for Cowden. Here's the bunt shown by Dylan Hall. He pulls it back and takes ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Josh Dart, the designated hitter, awaiting to hit in the on-deck circle for Spanish Fork. 0-1 pitch, snap throw over to first, and diving back safely is Josh Cowden. We're in the top of the second inning. It's a 3-0 lead right now for Timpanogos. The T-Wolves scoring 3, taking advantage of a 2-run double from Carter Wild. Bunt shown again. They turn around and square. They'll pull it back and takes it for a ball. It's 1 ball and 1 strike to count here on Dylan Hall. Runner takes off, curveball inside, Cowden goes, the throw is going to be not in time. Josh Cowden just getting underneath the tag. It was a pretty good throw from Spencer Olson behind the plate. The throw was put right on the money. Josh Cowden just able to slide that front foot in underneath the tag. And so now Spanish Fork an opportunity maybe to get one back here with a base hit from Dylan Hall. Here's the 2-1 pitch on its way. Hall grounds this one through the left side for a base hit. Cowden will only be able to get to third as the relay throw comes in. And Spanish Fork now with runners on the corners. And that will bring up Josh Dart. Dart hit back in the game on Thursday. And Dart went 1 for 3 with a single for Spanish Fork in their loss to American Fork. Runners on the corners, nobody out, as Tyler Thomas, the right-hander, gets ready to go from the stretch. And the pitch on its way, and Dart hits this one out to right field. It's going to be playable, though, for Johnston to make the catch. He'll make the relay throw as Cowden slides in safely to home plate, and Spanish Fork is on the board here in the second with a sacrifice fly there from Josh Dart. Cowden able to score, and that's, again, we talked about it a little bit in that first game for Spanish Fork. Situational hitting has been key for this team, as right there they're able to find a way to get the fly ball and get the run home. So with one gone, it's going to bring up the left fielder Carson Chappell. Chappell did not play as the throw comes over and Hall dives back safely. Chappell did not play in that first game. Today, as the pitch comes in, Chappell fouls it back to the screen. Be no balls and a strike here on Carson Chappell. Some new baseballs delivered out to the home plate umpire. As Hall gets ready to run over at first base. He's being held on by Paxton Richards, the first baseman. And the 0-1 pitch, high and tight. A nice job there as Olsen able to get back and stop it there. And it's 1-1 strike here on Carson Chappell. One away here in the top of the second. One run in for Spanish Fork. The pace of this one a little more slower than what we saw in the first game today for Spanish Fork. Pickoff move, diving back over at first is Dylan Hall, and he's back safely. 1-1 strike, 1 out. Spanish Fork, the visiting team here, hitting in the top half of the inning, and again, that one high and tight. Chappell turning out of the way of it, and it's 2-1 the count on Carson Chappell. Chappell has pretty good wheels, but with the third baseman Carter Wild playing about even with the bag, this may not be the time we see Chappell lay down any kind of a bunt or anything. The 2-1 pitch on its way, and Chappell can't catch up to the fastball, and the count evens up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls and 2 strikes here with 1 out. The pitch on its way, fastball off the plate, ball 3, and the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes here on Carson Chappell. Dylan Hall being held on over at first. Big hole on the right side of the infield. If Chappell would be able to find a way to send one the other way. From the stretch, Thomas comes in. That one misses low and outside, ball 4. So the second walk allowed by Tyler Thomas here in this one puts now runners on at first and second, and it will bring up the right fielder Brock Johnson as a conference will take place here on the mound. So Johnson will stand in here in that 9 spot. Tay Newman in the on-deck circle. Spanish Fork looking here to try to see if maybe they can't get a couple more of those runs back that they gave up in the top half of the inning. As Tyler Thomas gets ready to go. And the first pitch to Brock Johnson is going to be in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1 the count here on Brock Johnson. Infield for Timpanogos, they're going to play a double play depth. And the 0-1 pitch about ready to come home as Johnson fouls this one back to the screen. And it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes on Brock Johnson. And one thing you have to wonder with both of these teams, with this being their 4th game in a couple of days, you have to wonder how deep each team is right now still with the pitching, because of the fact that we may see those pitchers take some time. The 0-2 pitch on its way, breaking ball right on the outside corner, and the count moves to 1-2 right here with 1 out in the second inning. Runners on at first and second. Dylan Hall at second. Over at first, it's Carson Chappell as the 1-2 pitch misses. A snap throw down to first. And Richards does a nice job there of making sure that one stays in front of him. Tyler Thomas ready to go on the mound, and the 2-2 pitch on its way home is going to be grounded slowly to second. Earl up with it, bobbles the baseball, and they're going to get the out on Chappell at second. Everybody else will reach, and so it'll end up being a fielder's choice there for Brock Johnson. Gets Chappell retired for the second out, and now Tay Newman comes to the plate. Newman flew out to center in his only plate appearance of the afternoon. And now he'll stand in here, looking to try to see if he can come up with a clutch hit for the Dons. First and third with 2 outs. The step to third, look to first. If you listened to me call baseball before, you'll understand that that's still something I have questions about. I've never seen it really work. As the pitch comes in for a called strike, and it's 0-1. I mean, I get the idea in theory, you know, make the runner think you're going to third, and then you turn back and throw to first. As a base runner, I would think if the pitcher steps off, you're going back to the bag. The 0-1 pitch ready to come home. Thomas on its way, and that one's going to be fouled away by Newman, as he looks like might have fouled it off his ankle or something there, and that one goes foul, and we'll have an 0-2 pitch coming to Tay Newman. Newman still kind of shaken up. Takes a practice swing and will stand back in here. Not a fun feeling having a ball fouled off your foot or your ankle or your shin. No balls and 2 strikes the count. Ready to go, and the pitch on its way. And Newman just kind of reaches for it and puts it off into right center field for a base hit. Scoring on the play is Dylan Hall. Going down to third base is going to be Brock Johnson. And it's a 3-2 lead now for Timpanogos. And Spanish Fork is chipping away at that lead. For an RBI single there for Tay Newman, and here's Andrew Pintar. Pintar now stands in with 2 outs, and once again you have runners on the corners. Right here as Tyler Thomas from the stretch will get ready to deliver his first pitch to Pintar, right on the outside corner. This one's in there for a called strike. Brock Johnson running at third base. It's Tay Newman running over at first base. Pintar stands in. Knees bent. And the pickoff move, diving back and getting there safely is Tay Newman. No balls and 1 strike here with 2 gone in the bottom of the second inning. Or sorry, the top of the second inning. Spanish Fork being the visiting team today. The 0-1 pitch right on the outside corner. This one's in there for a called strike. And it's quickly 0-2 the count here on Andrew Pintar. The pace of this ball game has been slow and steady. Wins the race. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one blocked in the dirt. Runner takes off for second. Olsen will not throw it as Tay Newman dives headfirst into second base. And now the tying and leading runs for Spanish Fork, both being in scoring position here with Andrew Pintar at the plate. Ready to go. Here's the pitch on its way to Pintar. That one misses low, and the count evens up here at 2 balls and 2 strikes here on Andrew Pintar. Tyler Thomas, the right-hander, trying to work through what Mason Nielsen did in the bottom of the first inning. And Pintar goes to right field with it. That's going to fall for a base hit. Scoring is Brock Johnson. Tay Newman is going to be given the green light, and Spanish Fork has a 4-3 lead. Andrew Pintar goes the other way, and in that case gives Spanish Fork a 4-3 lead. The Dons have fought back with 4 runs of their own here in the inning, 2 of which have came with 2 outs in the inning. And here's the 8th man to come to the plate for Spanish Fork in Cy Nielsen. Nielsen walked in his only plate appearance of the ball game, and there the first pitch misses for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. The count here on Cy Nielsen. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Nielsen rolls this one foul over towards the Timpanogos dugout and evens the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike with 2 outs here in the top of the 2nd inning. Spanish Fork trying to continue the inning. 4 runs across. The pitch blocked in the dirt. Nice job by Spencer Olson. And it becomes 2 balls and a strike to count here on Cy Nielsen. Andrew Pintar, the runner over at first base, just knocked in 2 runs with an RBI single to right. Here's the 2-1 pitch on its way right on the outside corner. This one missing for ball 3. It's 3 balls and a strike on Cy Nielsen. Tyler Thomas is not missing by too much off the plate. You can tell he's wanting to kind of pitch away from Cy Nielsen and not really go too much over the plate. The 3-1 pitch on its way. Nielsen down the left field line chopper, but it goes foul. And the count goes full here on Cy Nielsen. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pintar over at first base will be probably taking off here with the pitch. I would think. I don't see at all why Pintar would not consider why he wouldn't go here. And the pickoff move and diving back safely is Andrew Pintar. Tyler Thomas very aware in that situation that Pintar is probably taking off with the pitch. Here's the 3-2 on its way. Nielsen swings and misses, strike 3, and the 2nd inning comes to an end here. So 4 runs across for Spanish Fork, and we head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. It's a 4-3 lead for the Spanish Fork Dons. Let's take a moment here to thank our sponsors on Spanish Fork 17 for making each and every broadcast possible that we have on our channel. We have the Tony Basso Auto Group, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, 2 Jacks Pizza, Mikkel Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law, Dickerson Automotive, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance. We thank everybody for making these broadcasts possible throughout the day. We also want to remind you, you can watch this game on our YouTube page, youtube.com/SpanishFork17, where you can get all the live broadcasts and archive shows and much more on that YouTube page as we get ready to continue on the bottom of the 2nd inning as Timpanogos looks to try to build off that 4-3 lead that they have here. Or sorry, they trail in this ball game now after the 4-run 2nd inning from Spanish Fork. And Timpanogos is going to send up Tyler Thomas, the pitcher, to lead off in the 2nd inning, as the right-hander Mason Nielsen will go back to work, and now he has an opportunity to take the mound here with the lead here in this one. So Tyler Thomas will make his way to the plate to lead off the bottom of the 2nd inning. Mason Nielsen, the right-hander, will go back to work right here. And he'll work from the windup here, and he winds and delivers the first pitch on its way. There's a ground ball up the middle of short. Andrew Pintar has it. He'll throw over to first in time. And 1 pitch, 1 away. That's a good way to be economical if you're Mason Nielsen. And with 1 out here, waiting, I think, to see who's going to come out on deck for Timpanogos. Nobody was in the on-deck circle. I think they should be the second baseman, Dallin Earl. And that's who it is. Number 4, Dallin Earl.
The second baseman, number 4, Earl.
Dallin Earl will stand in here with one away. Earl from the right side of the plate here, ready to go, and the pitch on its way home. And Earl pops this one up foul, and it's no balls and a strike the count here on Dallin Earl. Mason Nielsen now needs to, I would think, put up some zeros if you're Spanish Fork and try to build some of that momentum that you have against Timpanogos. Here's the 0-1 pitch on its way home. That one bounced in front of the dirt and rolls to the backstop, and the count evens up here, 1 ball and 1 strike on Dallin Earl. Infield back for Spanish Fork. Outfield kind of medium deep all the way around. The 1-1 pitch, breaking ball in there at the knees for a called strike, and it's 1-2 here on Dallin Earl. Following the game, both these teams will make the drive back home up north. A 1-2 pitch is going to be hit down the right field line for Earl, and he is going to keep it fair. Going around first, over to get it is Brock Johnson. Earl is standing up on second with a 1-out double. And Timpanogos back in business again here in the second inning to bring up Tyson Hines. Hines had a double and then came around to score a run back in his first plate appearance back in the first inning. And now he will stand in here ready to go. Running on at second base, Dallin Earl with plenty of speed. Fastball misses outside, ball 1. It's 1 ball and no strikes the count here on Tyson Hines. One ball and no strikes the count here as Mason Nielsen comes in. Bunt laid down the third baseline, but it's going to go foul, and I'll have a 1 ball, 1 strike count here coming again here to Tyson Hines. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. The right-hander Mason Nielsen going to work here for Spanish Fork. Here's the 1-1 pitch, blocked in the dirt for a ball. And it's 2-1 the count here on Tyson Hines. Davis Kirby in the on-deck circle for Timpanogos. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That one misses outside, ball 3. It's 3-1 the count here on Hines. Hines has been patient. Both pitchers are kind of taking their time here in this one. Here's a 3-1 pitch on its way. Hines rolls that one foul, and the count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. With the combination of pace and hits and runs scored, right here as this one comes in, that one's going to be grounded over to third. Up with it is Tay Newman. His throw across the diamonds in time, and there's 2 outs here in the inning. A nice play there by Tay Newman. Most important thing here, that holds the runner and keeps him from being able to move up. So a good throw across the diamond, and now with 2 outs, it's going to bring up Davis Kirby. Kirby 0 for 1, grounded to short in his only plate appearance of the ball game. As Mason Nielsen gets ready to go to work. Nielsen from the stretch, and the breaking ball comes in and gets in there for strike 1. It's no balls and a strike. The count here on Davis Kirby. The 0-1 pitch about ready to come home. Fastball, Kirby goes the opposite way with it and sends it foul into the bleachers there. That one did not, I thought that one was hit much further foul than it was. That one just hit the bleachers about 5 or 6 rows up above the Spanish Fork dugout. No balls and 2 strikes the count here on Kirby. Ready to go. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Fastball misses off the plate for a ball, and it's 1-2 the count here on Davis Kirby. Spanish Fork in the third will send up Dylan Lee, Josh Cowden, and Dylan Hall. 3, 4, and 5 coming up here for Spanish Fork in their top of the third. Here's a 1-2 pitch on its way, and that one is hit well out to left field. Sending Chappell back. He will make the catch up against the wall, and the inning comes to an end. No runs for Timpanogos. We've played 2, Spanish Fork 3, Spanish Fork 4, Timpanogos 3. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Top of the third inning from the Red Rock Classic here in St. George, as it's a 4-3 lead right now for Spanish Fork. Dylan Lee, Josh Cowden, and Dylan Hall coming to the plate here for Spanish Fork, as they'll look to try to see if they can extend their lead that they got back in the second inning when they used a 4-run second to get the lead here. As Spanish Fork will try to see what they can do here against Tyler Thomas. Thomas, who looked pretty good in that first inning, got roughed up, however, in the second inning, as it will bring up Dylan Lee to stand in. Lee 0 for 1 in this ball game, flew out to center. In the first ball game, had 2 very productive sacrifice flies. There he lifts one pretty good to center field. It's going to be Hines getting back under it. He'll make the catch. And there's one away here in the third inning. Here comes the catcher, Josh Cowden. Cowden walked in the second, came around to score the first run of the ball game for the Dons, and the first pitch on its way. Cowden will take that one on the inside corner for a called strike, and it's 0-1 here on Josh Cowden. Ready to go. Here's the 0-1 pitch on its way. That one inside and tight. Cowden quickly turning out of the way, and the count evens up here at 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch on its way. That one blocked in the dirt and goes to the backstop. It'll be 2-1 the count here on Josh Cowden. Tyler Thomas there, just not quite getting all the way home on that 2-1 pitch. And here's the 2-1 on its way home. That one swung on and fouled straight back, and it's 2-2 the count now on Josh Cowden. Cowden ready to go as he stands back in with the count evened up. Thomas kicks and delivers this one right on the outside corner, ball 3. And the count moves to 3-2 here on Josh Cowden. So Cowden has really battled here in this count. Gets it into his favor with a 3-2 count. Time called as Cowden will back out of the box. Here's the 3-2 pitch on its way home. Cowden pops this one up, and this one will go foul. We'll get a new baseball out to Tyler Thomas as Timpanogos switches from being a 4A school in Region 7 to being a 5A school in Region 8, and with that they lost some of the traditional rivals within Orem. The 3-2 pitch, Cowden grounds this one foul down the first baseline, and Cowden will have to return back to first base. So for Timpanogos, instead of having in your region play seeing Orem and Mountain View and some of those schools there, the closest school now I believe they're going to see in their region play will be Provo. They'll be in there with Provo and Sky Ridge, Maple Mountain, and Springville. So it just kind of changes things a little bit. The 3-2 pitch on its way, and Cowden grounds this one right past the first baseman into right field for a base hit. Cowden will take the turn. He will hold at first. And that's the 4th hit of the ball game for Spanish Fork. Josh Cowden is aboard here with 1 out in the 3rd inning, and that's going to bring up Dylan Hall, the second baseman. Hall has a base hit in the ball game. Came around to score a run as well here in the 2nd inning. So Josh Cowden will get his lead over at first base. He's being held on by Richards over at first for Timpanogos in the pitch. On its way, that first one misses outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes the count here on Dylan Hall. Both pitchers having a little bit more difficult time hitting the strike zone as the pickoff move comes back over. American Fork will play in the final game of the day here. They're beginning to warm up down the right field line here. 1 ball and no strikes the count here on Dylan Hall. Tyler Thomas comes home, and that one's going to be lined right to the second baseman and gloved by Earl. He will apply the tag. He will apply the tag there on the runner. In that case, it's Cowden, and the inning comes to an end on the double play. So Spanish Fork got a runner on base. They weren't able to score in the inning, however. They strand nobody, and moving to the bottom of the 3rd, the Dons have a 4-3 lead on Timpanogos. Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors here on Spanish Fork 17 who work so hard to get these broadcasts and help us out to get those on the air. We have the Tony Basso Auto Group, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, Dickerson Automotive, Mikel Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law, Two Jacks Pizza, and Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance. We thank everybody for that work to make this broadcast possible here this afternoon, and our many other ones coming up through our high school sports season here on Spanish Fork 17. Mason Nielsen will go to work here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. He's going to get Derek Aquinto, Spencer Olson, and then Tennyson Pay will be coming up here for Timpanogos as we'll get ready here as they'll get ready to send it down to the second baseman. We talked about in the first ball game, it seemed to be the umpires were using kind of the speed up rules that instead of allowing 7 or 8 pitches, they only get 5 and on the mound. And so we'll see here what happens here. So far, it doesn't seem like they're being quite as strict on the 5 pitches. But here's Derek Aquinto to lead it off. Aquinto 0 for 1, went down on strikes in his first plate appearance. And the pitch on its way home right here, and the first one is over for a called strike, and it's 0-1 on Derek Aquinto. The middle part of the Timpanogos lineup, Aquinto dominated from the pitcher's mound last year. That one low for a ball, and the count evens up at 1-1. But I would imagine he probably threw in one of their games yesterday morning that they played. I think they played at 9 and then 11:30. So I'm assuming he went in one of those ball games. The pitch on its way, Aquinto fouls it straight back into the netting, and it should be 1-2 here on Aquinto. Infield back for the Dons here with nobody out in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Mason Nielsen ready to go to work as he kicks and delivers the 0-2 pitch on its way. That one missing for a ball, and it makes the count 1-2. The umpire hasn't shown the count. So it must be 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch on its way to a Quinto from Mason Nielsen, and the pitch, that one gets the backstop for ball 2. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes here on a Quinto. Quinto ready to go, stands back in. Here with the 2-2 pitch, and the kick and the delivery on its way. That one's low, ball 4. So a Quinto draws a free pass here. And the leadoff runner's on here for Timpanogos in the 3rd. Here's Spencer Olson. Olson had a single back in his first plate appearance. That brought home a run for Timpanogos. As Timpanogos had 3 runs in the first inning against Mason Nielsen. And the first pitch on its way, the fastball hits the outside corner for a called strike, and it's 0-1 on Mason Nielsen. The lights on here at Bruce Hurst Field in St. George as the pitch on its way swung on and missed, and the count moves to 0-2 here on Spencer Olson. A lot of jackets and sweatshirts and blankets out today. No balls and 2 strikes, nobody out, bottom of the 3rd inning. Nielsen will step off and look the runner over to first base. This game just about an hour long. And the pitch on its way. Olson lifts this one deep into right field. That is sending the right fielder Johnson back. He'll make the catch for the first out of the inning, but Spencer Olson hit that a mile high into the air out to right field. Nice job by Johnson to stay with it to make the catch, and now that's going to bring up Tennyson Pay. Pay walked in his first plate appearance and then came around to score a run for Timpanogos. This was the part of the lineup that really got to Mason Nielsen, the pickoff move, and back diving as the first baseman Tennyson Pay, the runner at first, Derek Quinto. Here's the pitch on its way, fastball. In there for strike 1 to Pay. It's 0-1 the count here on Tennyson Pay. Working from the stretch, Mason Nielsen trying to just work through this tough part of this middle part of the lineup here for Timpanogos. Nielsen will step off and look the runner back over to first again. Infield back up the middle for Spanish Fork. And the pitch on its way, fouled straight back to the screen. And will foul it back, will be 0-2. Have another 0-2 pitch coming here to Tennyson Pay. If you compare the lineup that started this game compared to that lineup a year ago in the state championship game for Timpanogos, it is a lot different looking a club, but a lot of these kids have been around the program for a while. There's a pop-up hit down the line. That's going to be trouble. That's going to fall for a base hit. Getting up to second base is the runner Quinto, and Timpanogos again, maybe not the most impressive hit, but in the box score, that's going to still show as a base hit for Tennyson Pay as it was popped up really high down the line. It was a long run for Johnson, and he just couldn't quite get there. And with one gone, it's going to bring up Carter Wild. Wild did the damage back in the first inning, a two RBI double, really kind of opened this ball game up at the time, giving Timpanogos a 3-0 lead. Working here, the first pitch, and Wild will foul that one back to the backstop. No balls and a strike here on Carter Wild. 4-3 lead right now for Spanish Fork. The Dons are the visiting team here in game 2 of the day. Here's the 0-1 pitch on its way. That one hit the opposite way for Wild, but it's going to hook foul. And it'll be 0-2. Wild was thinking extra bases out of the box there. And with the speed on the base paths, a ball in the gap or down the line here has the potential to score Tennyson Pay from first. You have to kind of keep that in mind here as you go here throughout the rest of this ball game. No balls and 2 strikes the count here on Carter Wild. The pitch on its way. Fastball misses outside for a ball. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes the count here on Carter Wild. Derek Aquinto running at second. Tennyson Pay running over at first. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's in there, called strike 3. Mason Nielsen gets the big strikeout. That's his second of the ball game, and now Paxton Richards will come to the plate. Richards popped out to Dylan Lee at first in his only plate appearance of the ball game. Nielsen ready to go, checks the runner at second, and comes home. The pitch fouled straight back. That's going to go there into about the 5th row of bleachers here, just over the Dons dugout. No balls and a strike the count here on Paxton Richards. Aquinto running at second. Over at first base is Tennyson Pay. Here's the 0-1 on its way. Fastball right off the plate, but it's going to catch the corner for a called strike. And it's quickly 0-2 here on Paxton Richards. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Fastball misses high and outside for a ball. And it's 1-2 the count here on Paxton Richards. This is a good test for Spanish Fork playing Timpanogos just a little over a week before region play. So we'll kind of help let them know where they're at. The 1-2 pitch, fastball stays high for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Nielsen ready to go, checks the runner, comes home, breaking ball in there, called strike 3, just froze. Paxton Richards gets the 3rd strikeout, and the 3rd inning comes to an end. We've played 3 complete here from Bruce Hurst Field in St. George. Is Spanish Fork 4, Timpanogos 3. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
Wild Mustangs. They're supposed to be one of the most gentle creatures in nature.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these. That's why more people save money by combining their home and auto with State Farm.
Call State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Start of the top of the 4th inning here at Bruce Hurst Field in St. George, where Spanish Fork is leading Timpanogos by a score of 4-3, as it will be Josh Dart, Carson Chappell, Brock Johnson, 7, 8, 9 coming up here for the Dons against the right-hander Tyler Thomas. As Spanish Fork, and both Spanish Fork and Timpanogos using a big inning in this one to score their runs. The Dons using a 4-run second, and Timpanogos used a 3-run first inning to get the lead in which, or get their 3 runs in which they have. So Pleasant Grove and American Fork will end it. Pleasant Grove just arriving. They're going to wear these powder blue kind of tops or jerseys that kind of look similar to the Toronto Blue Jays. So here's Josh Dart to lead it off. First pitch, and Dart rolls this one over towards first. It's picked up by Richards, who will touch first base. And 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 4th inning, and Tyler Thomas there. That's the kind of out you want. 1 pitch, 1 out, as Carson Chappell will come to the plate. Chappell had a really good at-bat in his last time up there. He worked the count well, got down in the count, and then worked back into being ahead and then drew a walk. Saw a lot of pitches, did a good job. We'll see what Chappell does here. As the first pitch, he swings through it, and there was a little bit ahead of the, it looks like the changeup there coming from Tyler Thomas. No balls and a strike here on Carson Chappell. Here's the 0-1 pitch on its way. Chappell takes that one low for a ball. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike, the count here on Carson Chappell. Tyler Thomas wants to change out baseballs here. So they'll go ahead and change out those baseballs. And Chappell will head back into the batter's box here. Here's the 1-1 pitch on its way home. And Chappell again swings through it. And it's 1-2 the count on Carson Chappell. Chappell's timing just seems to be a little off. He's swinging at pretty good pitches that are, for the most part, been strikes. It just doesn't seem like he's been able to catch. He's either ahead of the changeup, or he's behind on the fastball. Chappell steps out after calling time, gets back in the box, ready to go. Here's the 1-2 pitch on its way. Fastball stays high for a ball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count here on Carson Chappell. So Chappell, working the count again, has done a nice job seeing pitches, giving his teammates plenty to look at here as he swings and misses. Strike 3, and Carson Chappell there chasing one out of the strike zone. And there's 1 away here in the, or 2 away here. Second strikeout for Tyler Thomas, and now that's going to bring up Brock Johnson. Johnson hit into a fielder's choice back in the 2nd inning. That was his only plate appearance of the ball game. Pitch on his way, fastball, misses outside for a ball. It's 1 ball and no strikes. The count here on Brock Johnson. Here's the 1-0 pitch on its way. Johnson fouls this one right back to the screen. And it'll be 1 ball and 1 strike here on Brock Johnson. We're in the top of the 4th inning. It's a 4-3 lead right now for Spanish Fork on top of Timpanogos. Here's the 1-1 pitch on its way. Johnson rolls that one foul down the line, and be 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count here on Brock Johnson. Infield back for the T-Wolves. Outfield pretty much squared away as well. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Johnson. Low and in the dirt for a ball, and the count moves to 2-2. Tyler Thomas has not really left the mound very much today. He's just, it's been kind of tough, I think, for Thomas to get in a groove. Here's the 2-2 pitch on its way. That is close, but it's going to be ball 3, and that, I don't know if that might have been higher than it looked from my vantage point here, or if it was outside, but from where I saw it, that looked pretty good. Here's the 3-2 pitch on its way. That one high, ball 4, and Brock Johnson draws a 2-out free pass here in the 4th. So with 2 outs in the inning, that will send it back to the top of the lineup, and here's Tay Newman. Newman has flown out to center and then also had an RBI single in the 2nd inning as well, and came around to score. That all came during the 4-run 2nd inning for Spanish Fork. Here's the pitch on its way. Fastball outside for strike 1. It must have just caught that outside corner. 0-1 the count here on Tay Newman. Pickoff move, and Brock Johnson dives back safely. No balls and 1 strike to count. Working from the stretch, the pitch on its way, blocked in the dirt. A good job by Spencer Olson of keeping the ball blocked in the dirt, and the count evens up 1 ball and 1 strike. Brock Johnson being held on by Paxton Richards over at first. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. Spanish Fork looks to try to build on their lead. That ball is hit well out to left field by Tay Newman. That ball is going to be off the wall. Going up and trying to get it was Tennyson Pay. Brock Johnson's going to get waved around third. The relay throw to the plate is going to one hop, and then moving down to third is going to be Tay Newman. The throw just one hop and went off the glove of the catcher and then went to the backstop. And Tay Newman able to get down to third, and it's 5-3 Spanish Fork. Newman will get an RBI double, and he moves to third on the throw. And with 2 outs, here's Andrew Pintar. Pintar has 2 RBIs already in the ball game on a 2 RBI single that he had back in the 2nd inning. Looking to try to see if he can add to that here in the 4th. And the pitch on its way, breaking ball, high and tight for a ball. And it's 1-0 the count here on Andrew Pintar. Just approaching 6 o'clock here in St. George as a new baseball will be given out. 6:55 is kind of our magic number, our magic time, I should say, for this ball game. 1-0 pitch, Pintar pops it up. This is going to be playable, I believe, for the catcher Olson, who will come back and make the catch, and the inning comes to an end. So there was 1 run for Spanish Fork in the inning, and the Dons take a 5-3 lead into the bottom half of the inning. Let's take a moment here on Spanish Fork 17 to thank our sponsors for making these broadcasts possible. We have the Tony Basto Auto Group, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, 2 Jacks Pizza, Mikkel Christiansen and Wise, Attorneys at Law, Dickerson Automotive, and Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance. We thank everybody for making these broadcasts possible, as we truly enjoy being able to come to these live sporting events and be able to bring you events like this from St. George and throughout the state. We want to remind you, if you've missed any of our broadcasts, or you ever want to watch a broadcast, or have a family member or friend who want to watch the broadcast that's outside the viewing area for Spanish Fork 17, we broadcast these games live on YouTube at youtube.com/Spanish Fork 17. So keep that in mind if you have family members or friends that want to tune into the broadcast and kind of see here, as right now we're heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. Tyler Thomas will step in to lead it off. It will be Thomas, Earl, and Hines, 8, 9, and 1 coming up. And now Spanish Fork is going to get another arm going down in the bullpen. That, I believe, is Cloward again. And there's a line shot into left field for a base hit. Tyler Thomas just squared up the baseball right there, and he'll have a leadoff single here in the 4th inning. Now we'll have someone come in and run. That's number 1, Andrew Lopez, who will come in and run speed up for Timpanogos, as Dallin Earl will come to the plate. Earl is 1 for 1, had a double back in the 2nd. That was his last plate appearance, and only plate appearance of this ball game. Mason Nielsen back to work, and his pitch to Earl is going to be lifted into center field. Going back on it and waiting for it is Cy Nielsen. He'll make the catch, and there's 1 away. So with 1 gone, back to the top of the lineup here is Tyson Hines. I was saying in the top half of the inning about how 6:55 is kind of the magic time for this ball game. And what I mean by that is no new inning can start once we hit 6:55. That's the 2-hour and 10-minute time limit here. As that one's fouled straight back to the screen, and it's no balls and a strike. First pitch was about 4:45 or so. As I'm sure American Fork and Pleasant Grove don't want to be starting their game much later than that. Pickoff move, and Diving back safely is Andrew Lopez. So that's going to be a very interesting contrast in uniforms. It's a really, as that one's in there for a called strike, and it's 0-2. I wish we could have a way of describing this to you right here, of what these uniforms look like, because they really are. You take the Toronto Blue Jays uniforms, they're kind of their powder light blue, or the old Kansas City Royals uniforms is exactly what they look like there, with those kind of powder light blue. No balls and 2 strikes here with 1 away in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Tyson Hines, the hitter. Andrew Lopez is the runner over at first base. And here's the 0-2 pitch, about ready to come home to Hines. He pops this one up and sends this one foul back onto the practice infield. I remember reading what they call that, but I don't remember the official name. But it's kind of a nice, gives teams a nice little field where they can take some ground balls and that on pregame. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Fastball stays high. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes the count here on Tyson Hines. One ball, 2 strikes with 1 away. Lopez gets a pretty good sized lead at first as Hines sends this one back into the screen. We'll have another 1-2 pitch coming. As Josh Cowden says, hey, I need another baseball. He runs some more out to the home plate umpire. Josh Cowden quickly grabs one, throws one back to his pitcher. Mason Nielsen here working through the 4th inning. Cloward still throwing in the bullpen, pickoff move, and Lopez dives back safely. Both teams have been concerned about runners when they get on the base paths here. And here's the pitch on its way, the 1-2. Misses outside for a ball. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The count here on Tyson Hines. Big hole on the right side of the infield with the first baseman Lee holding on the runner. And the 2-2 pitch on its way. Swung out and missed. Strike 3. And a big strikeout there for Tyson Hines. Or a big strikeout there, sorry, for Mason Nielsen. That is his 4th. And with 2 gone, it brings up the shortstop, Davis Kirby. Kirby 0 for 2. He's grounded to short and also flown out to left in his 2 plate appearances of the day. Nielsen with the knees bent on the mound delivers the pitch, and Kirby lines this one out into right center field. That is going to fall for a base hit. Cy Nielsen over to cut it off. His throw is going to come into third. It's in on a hop. Gets past the third baseman, but Mason Nielsen right there to back up the throw. So Lopez goes from first to third on the hit by Davis Kirby. And now that will put runners on the corners with 2 outs for Derek Aquinto. Derek Aquinto to stand in here from the left side of the plate. That's been kind of the way this game has gone. 12 combined hits between both teams. These hits haven't been overly, it's not like they're hitting home runs here. They're, as the pitch bounces in for ball 1. They have been hits that have just kind of found the right spot in the outfield, right between 2 guys, or they get in just down the line for a fair ball. I mean, it hasn't been one where you're going to look at and go, that, you know, that's a tape measure home run as the 1-0 pitch misses inside for a ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. And that's kind of the way baseball goes sometimes. Sometimes it's not the hardest hit baseball, it's the ball that's placed in the right spot. 2 balls and no strikes, the count here on Derek Aquinto. And the pitch on its way is rolled foul down the line. Down the right field line. And it's 2 balls and a strike, the count here on Derek Aquinto. You can see I-15 in the background, and throughout the day I've noticed a number of school buses in that heading north on I-15. You can tell that the tournament day is ending here, and tournaments are starting to end. A lot of these have ran Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or something of the equivalent. And who knows, they might not be all from down here, but there's a called strike 2 right at the knees with the fastball, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. But it did seem like every hotel that I've seen the couple days I've been here seems to have a yellow school bus or two in the parking lot. Lots of events going on down here in St. George this time of the year. Here's the 2-2 pitch, low ball 3, and the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Derek Aquinto. If Aquinto finds a way to continue the inning, it would be Spencer Olson, the catcher, who would hit next. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Runners on the corners as the 3-2 pitch misses low, ball 4, and the bases are now full for Timpanogos. Second time that Aquinto has walked, and now you bring a 1-for-2 Spencer Olson to the plate. And a quick conference here on the mound as Brad Cloward continues to throw here in the bullpen, as you see Derek Aquinto there, who I'm sure will frustrate some hitters in Region 8 this year when he gets on the mound. So here's with 2 outs, Spencer Olson, 1-for-2, an RBI single and a fly out to right to face Mason Nielsen. And the pitch on its way is low and outside for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Nowhere to put Olson here, so a walk here would bring home a run. Ready to go. Here's the 1-0 pitch on its way. Fastball misses outside for a ball. It's 2-0 the count here on Spencer Olson. Couple other Dons down the right field line playing catch, beginning to get their arms warm down in the Spanish Fork bullpen down the first baseline. Here's the 2-0 pitch on its way. Line right back through the middle. Olson will score. Or sorry, not Olson, but it's going to be Lopez. Davis Kirby right behind him. And we are tied up at 5 with a 2-run single for Spencer Olson. That is his second and third RBIs of the ball game. And now Timpanogos has the leading run out on second base with Tennyson Pay coming to the plate. A well-timed base hit, and I think here we may have the end of the line for Mason Nielsen here this afternoon. Couple of guys, but I think it's Cloward's the one that's most ready. Right here is Coach Gubb goes out and has a quick word with him. No signal yet to the bullpen, so I'm not sure if maybe he's just going out there to have a visit with them and kind of get his confidence back, see where his mind is. Right here, with 2 outs, the hitter in the inning is going to be Tennyson Pay. Right here, a long conversation taking place on the mound. And now they'll have the move here to make the pitching change. I believe it's going to be number 8, Brad Cloward, who will come in from the bullpen. And it will be Brad Cloward, number 8, who will come in and pitch. The hitter will be Tennyson Pay. And so now Cloward will throw a couple warm-up tosses before facing Tennyson Pay. But there will be runners on at first and second with 2 outs. And once again, the thing that kind of bugs you if you're both of these coaches is some of these runs have scored with 2 outs in the inning. And right here, if you're Spanish Fork, you get 2 outs in the inning, and then Kirby has the single. Then you walk Aquinto, and then you get the 2-run RBI single from Spencer Olson. And that's the tough part, isn't it so much that Timpanogos is getting their hits. They have 8 of them in the ball game, but what bugs you is the fact that they haven't had these or that you keep giving them these opportunities that come when you're on the verge of getting out of the inning. And Mason Nielsen just had a tough time today of getting out of the inning, and that kind of causes trouble as a pitcher. Brad Cloward continuing his warm-up tosses here on the mound right here. It's been fun to be down here at the Red Rock Classic and also the Summit Hills Athletic Club Invitational, or the Summit Athletic Club Invitational at Desert Hills High School. It was definitely fun yesterday. We were with Maple Mountain to watch the Golden Eagles yesterday split their 2 games, winning, of course, their nightcap over Juan Diego last night. We were here on Thursday night with Spanish Fork as the Dons dropped a game to American Fork, and then we had their last game where Spanish Fork took care of business against Taylorsville. This right now tied at 5 in the bottom of the 4th, still anyone's ball game. As Tennyson Pay comes to the plate, the leading run sitting on at second base. Cloward's first hitter, the runners on the base paths will both belong to Mason Nielsen. Cloward just trying to pitch to get out of this inning right here. From the stretch, Cloward kicks and delivers this one home as Tennyson Pay checks his swing, and that one was low and outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes the count here on Tennyson Pay. Cloward takes a look at the runner over at first and now comes in, and that one's going to be hit out into left center field, but nope, it's going to be just off the infield, and it's ran down by Andrew Pintar, and the inning comes to an end. Timpanogos scores 2 in the 4th. However, at the end of 4, we're tied at 5. Spanish Fork and Timpanogos here on Spanish Fork 17.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Top of the 5th inning, starting here at Bruce Hurst Field in St. George, Utah. We're tied at 5 between Spanish Fork and Timpanogos right here. About 45 minutes or so remaining here in this one, where before we have to stop play at the end of that inning. The reason why I say that is this game could end up ending in a tie. So just, we don't say that in baseball very often at all. Generally, baseball is one of those games you play until someone wins, but in this kind of a tournament setting, you can have a tie. It'd be Cy Nielsen, Dylan Lee, and Josh Cowden, 3, 4, and 5 coming up here. And I think we have a new pitcher. It's going to be Spencer Olson, who is now pitching for Timpanogos. So both teams now going to their bullpen. Cy Nielsen stands in. And the pitch to Nielsen. He swings and grounds that one. Knocked down at third by Wild, but he will not have a play. And Cy Nielsen's aboard here to start the 5th inning with an infield base hit. So Nielsen reaches, and now that's going to bring up first baseman Dylan Lee. Lee 0 for 2, a pair of flyouts to center field for Lee on the afternoon. So there you get a look at the Spanish Fork all gray uniforms and black across the chest that say Spanish Fork. And the pitch on its way. Lee swings through it. No balls and a strike to count here on Dylan Lee. Tay Newman now throwing down in the bullpen for Spanish Fork. Lee square shows bunt, pulls it back, and that one misses for a ball, and the count evens up here. 1 ball, 1 strike on Dylan Lee. It's one of the nice things about baseball, except if you're in this kind of a tournament setting, there's not really much of a clock on the game. But in these kind of tournaments, there generally does become something. Lee lifts that one to right field. Over is Johnston, and he'll make the catch. And there's one away here in the 5th inning. So now with one gone, here's the catcher, Josh Cowden. Cowden has been aboard twice this evening for the Dons. Walked and scored a run in the 2nd and had a single in the 3rd inning. So Cowden will stand in, ready to go here from the left side of the plate, with Nielsen running over at first. The first pitch in there for a called strike. It's 0-1, the count here on Josh Cowden. I believe it's Braden Hawks now catching for Timpanogos, and Zach Stick now playing first base. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Cowden takes it right in the hole with the runner going. Nielsen will be told to put the brakes on at second as a good throw came in from Johnston and right. That will hold the runner, but a nice job there by Josh Cowden taking that one into the hole. Spanish Fork now with runners on at first and second, and here's Dylan Hall. Hall has hit the baseball hard twice tonight. Once he had a base hit in the 2nd, and then in the 3rd hit a line drive that was gloved by Dallin Earl, and Earl just tagged out the base runner to double him off. That would end the inning. Pitch on its way is going to miss for a ball 1. It's 1 ball and no strikes the count here on Dylan Hall. The Dons go to Sky Ridge on Tuesday, and that one misses for a ball. It's 2 balls and no strikes. And they'll get the Falcons there on the road up in Lehigh. And that will be, I would imagine, a very competitive game. That is a very well-coached team up there as the 2-0 pitch goes outside for ball 3. Sky Ridge having a deep run in last year's state baseball tournament at the 4A level. I would imagine when you talk about 5A baseball, I would say they have to be one of those teams that you're going to want to keep an eye on come May. Here's a throw over, and it's going to just kind of skip away there from Zach Stick at first base. Josh Cowden really wasn't even off the base at first, so throw kind of came over and just kind of hit him straight in the back as Stick tried to reach around to grab it. The pitch on its way, and that one low or in there for a called strike, and the count evens up. 1 ball and 1 strike here on Dylan Hall. 5-5 tie. We're in the top of the 5th inning. Runners on at first and second. The pitch on its way. Hall lines this one right to Earl. It's going to 1-hop. They'll get the out at second for 1. They'll turn the relay to first. It skips away from Stick. Nielsen's going to try to score. The throw is going to be late, and Nielsen slides in, and Spanish Fork has a 6-5 lead. So Josh Dart will come to the plate, and we're going to have a runner come in over at first base, it looks like, for Dylan Hall, as Spanish Fork wants to bring in Morley Bennett, number 9, who will come in to run over at first base. He'll run for Dylan Hall. As Dart stands in, the first pitch right there for a called strike. Dart has a sacrifice fly to right, and then also is grounded out to first in his other plate appearance. No balls and 1 strike the count. The pickoff move, and Olsen throws over, and that gets Bennett at first, diving back safely. Here's the pitch, and Dart takes it the other way to left field for a base hit. With the runner Bennett moving, the throw comes back. The tag will be applied to Bennett late. And a nice piece of hitting there by Josh Dart to take that one the other way with the runner moving. And with 2 outs, that brings Carson Chappell to the plate. Chappell has walked and also has struck out. Runners on at first and second here with 2 gone. Olsen comes in, the pitch. Misses low for ball 1. It's 1 ball and no strikes here on Carson Chappell. 6-5 lead for Spanish Fork in the top of the 5th inning. Their goal would be to play all 7. 1-0 pitch, inside and tight. That one's going to be a called strike, and it evens the count up at 1-1. Dart running at first, Bennett running at second. The 1-1 pitch on its way. Swung out and missed, fouled away. It's 1-2. Carson Chappell took a big cut. Made enough contact with the ball to foul it, I think, off the catcher. It's 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch on its way, blocked in the dirt. Runners take off. The throw down to third is going to be in plenty of time, and they are going to nail Morley Bennett trying to get to third base to end the inning. Spanish Fork does get 1, however, to take a 6-5 lead on Timpanogos. And we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Carter Wild will lead it off for the Timberwolves. Let's take a moment here on Spanish Fork 17 to thank our sponsors for making this one possible today. We want to thank the Tony Basso Auto Group, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, 2 Jacks Pizza, McKell, Christiansen, and Wise Attorneys at Law, Dickerson Automotive, and Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance. Thank them for making each and every broadcast possible throughout our high school sports season here on Spanish Fork 17. And if you missed a broadcast or you want to catch a live one because you're outside Spanish Fork, you can do so on youtube.com/SpanishFork17. You can catch the archived broadcasts and some of the other live broadcasts as well. So check us out there. And our other social media pages, Facebook and also our Instagram pages. Keep up with the latest shows, our live broadcasts, and our Spanish 417 staff. Especially helpful this time of year if a baseball game we're planning on doing ends up getting rained out or canceled for some reason. Oftentimes we'll post an announcement there. So we head to the bottom of the 6th inning as Carter Wild, Paxton Richards, and then it was supposed to be Tyler Thomas, but we'll see who ends up hitting in that spot. In fact, I think we're going to have some changes because I already see one as Zach Stick has moved into the on-deck circle. So Carter Wild will hit here for Timpanogos, and the first pitch there misses low with the fastball. 1 ball and no strikes. Count here on Carter Wild. Wild 1 for 2, has a 2-run double that came back in the first inning, and then also has struck out. As Tay Newman takes over on the mound here for the Dons. Moving over to third base is Josh Dart. There's a bouncing ball up the middle to second. From his knees, the throw to first is in time as Dylan Hall was kind of falling to his knees, and from his knees he made a good on-target throw to first to retire Carter Wild, and there's 1 away here in the 5th inning. That brings up Zach Stick, the first baseman. So we'll make some changes there, and the first pitch misses for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Here on the Timpanogos first baseman. There's a ground ball right to third. Up with it is Dart. He'll throw across the diamond high, but the first baseman, Lee, able to get his foot back on the bag in time, and there's quickly 2 away here in the 5th. And that is going to bring up number 7, Braden Hawks, who will hit in the spot here of what was originally Tyler Thomas. First pitch, a strike there to Braden Hawks. It's 0-1. Pitch, that one's going to be swung out, popped up. Down the line, it's going to be kind of a tough play, but coming in and making the catch in right is, I believe that's Cy Nielsen who ran that one down, and the inning comes to an end. We've played 5 complete here from Bruce Hurst Field in St. George. It's Spanish Fork 6, Timpanogos 5. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Christiansen, and Wise.
Top of the 6th inning here at Bruce Hurst Field on the campus of Dixie State University, as Spanish Fork leading Timpanogos by a score of 6-5, as the Dons try to even their record here at the Red Rock Classic, as this will finish up their stay here. And of course, the end goal for Spanish Fork would be to be back on this field here later on this year, playing in the state tournament. The 4A state tournament being played here at Dixie State University, which will be interesting because you'll have some local teams here, like I would imagine the Dixie Flyers will have their hat in that tournament as Carson Chapel swings through it and comes up empty. No balls and a strike. The count here on Carson Chapel. It'll be Chapel, Johnson, and Newman coming up. The Flyers, were the defending 3A state champs, as the 0-1 pitch misses for a ball and the count evens up at 1-1. One of their pitchers, Tyson Fisher, I was reading online at the hotel last night, struck out 18 hitters or something like that in 5 or 6 inning game for Dixie, as that one misses for a ball, 2 balls and a strike here on Carson Chapel. So that kind of gives you a little bit of the competition if you're Spanish Fork. The 2-1 pitch, Chapel gets under it and pops it up. Question is, will it stay in play? And it's overrunning it is going to be the catcher, Braden Hawks. And be 2 balls and 2 strikes here on Carson Chapel. But you'll have, I think Spanish Fork will be, I think Salem Hills will be another team to keep an eye on come state tournament time. You'll have, especially at the 4A level, you'll have probably a couple of teams from down here. Snow Canyon probably will field a pretty good team as well. The 2-2 pitch swung out and missed. Hawks applies the tag on Chapel for the first out of the inning. First strikeout for Spencer Olson, and now that will bring it to the plate. It's going to be Riley Hess, who now entered the game last inning in center field. So Hess will come to the plate here. Did not get the start for Spanish Fork, but will get the at-bat here. And the pitch on its way, a fastball that misses off the plate for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. So that will be a fun field to kind of watch how it unfolds throughout the year. Here, the 1-0 pitch is going to get in there for a called strike, evens the count up at 1-1 right here. It'll be fun to see. There always seems to be that one of the teams that comes in, that one misses low for a ball, and it's 2 balls and a strike. This seems to kind of be the Cinderella story. There seems to be that team that you didn't expect to be there, but they're there. It'll be fun to watch and see who ends up being that team at the 4A level. The 2-1 pitch on its way home goes to the backstop for ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. The count here on Riley Hess. The 5A tournament will be held up at Kearns High School. And the 6A tournament, well, it will stay at the newly named UCCU ballpark, as that one misses outside, as Hess will take first base on the one-out walk, and Spanish Fork has a base runner here with one out in the inning, and that's going to bring up Tay Newman back to the top of the lineup for Tay Newman. Newman now pitching for Spanish Fork, so looking to help his own cause here and try to get the run, try to increase the likelihood of a run. Newman hits this one into shallow left center field. It's going to fall in front of Hines in center field, and so Spanish Fork now with back-to-back base hits here in the 6th inning puts runners on first and second with one away, and that's going to bring up Andrew Pintar. Pintar 1 for 3, has a fly out, a pop out to the catcher, and then a 2-run single that came back in that 2nd inning when Spanish Fork exploded for 4 of their 6 runs came in that 2nd inning. Olson from the stretch comes in. Pintar takes that one low for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes, the count on Pintar. The 1-0 pitch on its way, and that one is going to miss for a ball. It's 2 balls and no strikes, the count here on Andrew Pintar. Cy Nielsen in the on-deck circle will hit if the inning would likely hit here, and that one's now going to be 3-0 on Pintar. You do not want to load the bases here for Cy Nielsen. Coming over will be Wild. He'll have a quick word here with the right-hander as he tries to sort everything out here in the top of the 6th inning. Pintar likely taking all the way here. The pitch on its way, and that one missed, ball 4, and the bases are full for Spanish Fork here in the 6th, and nobody out. And here is Cy Nielsen. This is where the time limit really could come in to have an effect on the game, because of the fact, I don't want to keep talking about the time limit, but in this kind of a case, there really is a possibility it comes into effect as the ball misses outside to Nielsen. 1 ball and no strikes. For instance, if the inning goes long here and we get past 6:55, there may not be a 7th inning. Checks his swing. They'll appeal the base umpire. Nope, they're going to call it a strike. It's 1-1. So that becomes big into play because of the fact that Timpanogos may only have 1 more shot to get that run back, or however many they're going to need as the 1-1 pitch gets in there at the knees for a called strike. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes the count here on Cy Nielsen. Running over at third base is Riley Hess. It's Tay Newman at first, Andrew Pintar over at first. Good speed all the way around the base paths here for Timpanogos, or for Spanish Fork, I mean. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. And the pitch on its way inside, and it hit Pintar. Hawks trying to make the case that Nielsen kind of leaned into that one, but that's going to bring in a run here on the hit by a pitch, and Riley Hess will score. And the bases are still loaded here for Spanish Fork in the 6th. And here's an 0 for 3 Dylan Lee, and now Kim Nelson will come out of the Timpanogos dugout, and we'll have a quick conversation with the umpire. I think he wants the kind of a similar clarification to see about him. You can't really lean in or intentionally move a body part to get hit by the pitch. You have to have it more just kind of happen kind of a thing in order for that to go on. And with 1 gone, Dylan Lee will be the hitter. Now the umpires are going to have a conversation here and see what they kind of feel, and they could potentially reverse the call. But we'll see. I have yet to see when the umpires have a discussion that they reverse the call, and they will. They're going to tell Cy Nielsen to get back in the box, and now head coach Casey Gubb Nelson will come out, and now he wants to have a conversation. Riley Hess will quickly run back out to third, and Cy Nielsen will come in here to have a conversation about it. As right here in the 6th, the bases will be loaded. Cy Nielsen will be the hitter. So basically you're just going to take the run off the board And Nielsen with 1 out stands in, and the explanation, it appears, is given, and Nielsen will head back to the box. Now I think Cy Nielsen wanting maybe his own explanation. I think he wants to be reminded what was the count and all that. And it will be 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count here on Cy Nielsen. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 gone here in the top of the 6th. Bases full of Dons. The pitch on its way, low and in the dirt, ball 3, and now the count goes full to Cy Nielsen. No place to put him, so you're going to have to probably come over here with a pretty good pitch right here to Cy Nielsen. Here's the 3-2 on its way. Checks his swing. They're going to call strike 3. Nielsen was heading to first. He tosses the bat. And now head coach Casey Nelson going to again make another visit out here to talk about it with the home plate umpire. It's going to end up being a strikeout, which ends up hurting Spanish Fork because it does take that run off the board. Now there's 2 outs in the inning. And you're going to get Dylan Lee will be the hitter. Lee is 0 for 3 right here on the day. And he's pointing, trying to just kind of see here. He's pointing some stuff. I think this is going back to the fact that he was told to get back in the batter's box. Casey Nelson keeps pointing out to the other umpire and then pointing towards first base, doing the motion like you'd call him back right here. Casey Nelson having a long explanation right here to the home plate umpire right now, pleading his case, and now he'll kind of turn and head back to the Spanish Fork dugout. Dylan Lee's going to be the hitter. The bases are still loaded with 2 outs here in the inning. So right now, we'll see here what Dylan Lee can do. Timpanogos, this is a big spot in the game. If Timpanogos can get out of this with no runs coming in to score, then it really could swing some momentum going to the bottom of the 6th. And that one misses low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Last year, we were down here. Spanish Fork was playing Pleasant Grove over at Desert Hills High School. And a similar situation happened, I believe it was in their semifinal game, where Pleasant Grove had, as that one's going to be grounded past the diving third baseman into left field. That will bring home 1 run. Here comes the throw from left, and it's going to get past. The second run will score as Riley Hess and Tay Newman come in, and it's an 8-5 lead for Spanish Fork here in the 6th inning. Cy Nielsen goes to third. Dylan Lee gets to second on the throw home. And now that kind of opens up the ball game a little bit here if you're the Spanish Fork Dons here in the 6th inning, as Josh Cowden will come to the plate. Cowden has been aboard all 3 times. He's got 2 hits, both being singles. Pitch in there for a called strike. But in that game last year against Pleasant Grove, and now I think we're going to have a runner or something. In that game with Pleasant Grove, I think, if I remember correctly, head coach Darren Henry had wrote the wrong number for a player on the scorecard, which once you give that lineup card in there, you can't make any changes. So Spanish Fork was trying to say that they had hit out of order. At the end of the day, they decide not to do that. Pleasant Grove ended up scoring in that inning, and it ended up kind of sparking the Vikings to kind of get going offensively in that ball game, and Pleasant Grove came back to win, and that one misses for a ball. The count evens up 1-1. My point isn't that sometimes, what my point is with all of this is sometimes seeing your coach go to battle for you can fire you up. Ground ball hit to second, fielded by Earl. His throw to first is in time, and the top of the 6th inning comes to an end. Spanish Fork gets a pair of runs, however, to give some much-needed insurance as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's Spanish Fork 8, Timpanogos 5. You're watching high school baseball here on Spanish Fork 17. Let's take a moment here to thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible this afternoon from Dixie State University. We have 2 Jacks Pizza, MVP Sports, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Christiansen and Wise, attorneys at law. Lance Wilson, State Farm Insurance. Dickerson Automotive. And Tony Basso Auto Group. We thank everybody for making this broadcast possible today. We want to remind you can catch replays of today's game and our many other broadcasts on our YouTube page, youtube.com/SpanishFork17. So we move here to the bottom of the 6th inning. It will bring up 9-1-2 Dallin Earl, Tyson Hines, and Davis Kirby for Timpanogos, as Tay Newman will take over, or will continue here on the mound, looking to try to see if he can maybe try to shut the door down here, so to speak, on Timpanogos. The Timberwolves right now have 6 outs to work with. Right here, as Earl will make his way here to the plate. Josh Cowden will go out and have a quick word with his right-hander. It's a dangerous part of the Timpanogos lineup as Earl makes his way to the plate. Dallin Earl's 1 for 2, had a double back in the second and flew out to center. Back in his last at bat that came in the 4th inning. Timberwolves scored 3 in the first, as the bunt laid down nicely down the third baseline. Dart's going to have to charge, throws high. Lee able to save it from going down the line, but not before Dallin Earl beats it out for a base hit. And the leadoff man is aboard here in the 6th for Timpanogos, and that will bring up Tyson Hines. Hines is 1 for 3, has a double, ground out to third, and a strikeout. Right here. Over at first base, Dylan Lee holding the runner. First pitch misses outside, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes the count here on Tyson Hines. Working from the stretch, ready to go. Tay Newman looks in and comes home. That one's hit to center field, up over the head of the shortstop, Andrew Pintar. And Timpanogos has the first 2 men on base here in the 6th inning. And that will bring up Davis Kirby. And now Casey Nelson will come out of the dugout, and I think he's gonna, he had Andrew Pintar throwing earlier. Nobody throwing now in the bullpen. So we'll see here how this conversation goes. He's been known not always to pull the hook immediately, but have a conversation with the pitcher and see. The tying run coming to the plate in Davis Kirby. The last thing you want after getting the momentum if you're Spanish Fork is then to go back and give it right back to Timpanogos. Conversation over on the mound. They will stay with Tay Newman here in the 6th. Runners on at first and second, still nobody out. Davis Kirby had a single in the 4th and came around to score in the 2-run 4th inning for Timpanogos that saw the T-Wolves tie the ball game. That was the last time Timpanogos had scored. Newman will look the runner back to second. It's a 1 ball, no. Here's the pitch on its way to Kirby, and that one in there for a strike, and the count evens up, 1 ball and 1 strike. We'll see how head coach Kim Nelson wants to play this in the third base coach's box. If Kirby may be asked to move the runners over, but down by 3 runs, I don't know if you would. Ground ball, Dart knocks it down at third. His only play is going to be first. They're going to get Kirby, but that will move the runners up 90 feet. Which is big for Timpanogos because of the fact that you can be able to, with runners on at second and third base, now you don't need a hit to get 1 run in at least, and to try to get something. Trailing by 3, you don't need to get all 3 back right here with 1 swing of the bat, but if you could at least chip away and get a couple, or at least 1, something to get going on that scoreboard where you're not trailing by 3 heading into the 7th. That one in the dirt for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes the count here on Derek Aquinto. The third baseman, Dart, playing a couple of steps back off the cut of the infield grass, and the 1-0 pitch misses low for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Final game of the day will be Pleasant Grove against American Fork. 2 teams from the same region going at it. The 2-0 pitch is going to be lifted deep or into right field. Cy Nielsen coming in. The runner's going to come back and act like he's going to tag, but he's going to be held as Nielsen put a dart right to home plate. It kind of hopped and rolled a little bit, but is strong enough deterrent there to keep Dallin Earl at third. And with 2 outs in the inning, Spencer Olson comes to the plate. Olson does have 3 RBIs in the ball game. So a big opportunity here for the Timberwolves to see. First base is open, so we'll see if potentially they might look to maybe pitch around a little bit. That one's in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. In this kind of a situation, you generally wouldn't put anyone on, obviously, but you may see him maybe not really go too big over the plate here. The 0-1 pitch misses off the plate for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. I don't think I've seen in the games that we've been here for, so that one misses for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. I have not seen anyone go deep here in this ballpark. The 2-1 pitch on its way home. That one swung out and missed, and the count moves to 2-2 here on Spencer Olson. Cy Nielsen playing deep in right field as everybody's kind of playing squared up all the way around. There's a lot of people looking right now here at the clock trying to make sure and see. We are over 2 hours, but we were told it was 2 hours and 10 minutes. The 3-2 pitch swung out and missed, strike 3. Spencer Olson down on strikes. Timpanogos will strand a couple runners on, and that will send us to the 7th inning. We head to the 7th here at Bruce Hurst Field. It's an 8-5 lead for Spanish Fork. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Well, we head to the 7th inning here in St. George, Utah, and right now an opportunity for Spanish Fork to try to get a run or two of run support to try to help the Dons here at the Red Rock Classic try to hold on to this one over Timpanogos, as an extra run or two here would be of help here to Spanish Fork, as it will be Dylan Hall, Josh Dart, and Carson Chappell. 6, 7, and 8 coming up, as I think we may have a new pitcher, and we do. It's number 20, that's Caden Decker, a sophomore. The sophomore will come in to throw, so we start the 7th inning here. At this point, we'll play to the end of this ball game. So Dylan Hall will come to the plate. Hall singled and scored a run, lined into a double play, swings at the first pitch here and sends it right back to the screen. Hall also hit into a fielder's choice back in the 5th. Caden Decker, the right-hander, ready to go. And the 0-1 pitch on its way right now, and that one's going to be grounded to short. Up with it, takes a nasty hop and misplayed by the shortstop Kirby, and aboard is going to be Hall there. And I think misplayed might be an ill-favored word, but a tough hop at the last second. They will, it looks like, rule that an error against the shortstop. And that will bring up Josh Dart. Dart stands in, ready to go. Fastball misses high and outside for a ball, and it's 1-0 the count. Dart had a sacrifice fly to right back in the second, grounded out to first, and then had a single back in the 5th inning. Andrew Pintar throwing down in the Spanish Fork bullpen. Here's the 1-0 pitch on its way. That one swung out and missed. And the count evens up, 1 ball and 1 strike here on Josh Dart. Decker, the right-hander, trying to see if he can close this one or try to keep the Dons off the scoreboard. The last thing you want to do if you're Decker is to give up an extra run or two here. Spanish Fork wouldn't mind padding their lead a little bit here in the 7th. Breaking ball misses high, and it's 2 balls and a strike on Josh Dart. For Spanish Fork, it could be a nice way to build off of this tournament, to have a win against a 6A team as the pickoff move gets away from the first baseman, and it kicks away, but I think the runner over at first base, Lee, or Dylan Hall, I think he was a little shaken up there on the dive. The trainer will come out, and I think they'll just make sure he's okay here in the 7th inning. Josh Dart will be the hitter. He's got a 2-1 count after Dylan Hall kind of shakes it off for a moment. And now he stands in. Hall gets his lead over at first. Josh Dart stands in at the plate. It's a 2-1 count here on Dart. And the 2-1 pitch misses outside, ball 3. It's 3-1 the count here on Josh Dart. Decker working from the stretch here in the 7th for Timpanogos. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Is swung out and missed, and it makes the count now 3 balls and 2 strikes on Josh Dart. Nobody out here in the top of the 7th inning. 8-5 lead right now for Spanish Fork. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Dart. On its way, and Dart hits that one, pulls it through the right side for a base hit. And Spanish Fork has runners on at first and second here in the top of the 7th inning. And now that will bring in Carson Chappell will be the hitter right now. We're not going to have Carson Chappell. We will have, that is going to be Sage Olson, number 5, who will hit in the spot for Carson Chappell. So Sage Olson will hit here in the 7th. Right here as Olson will stand in from the left side of the plate. 8-5 lead right now for Spanish Fork. The Dons right now looking to try to add to it. Nobody out in the top of the 7th. The change has been recorded, and now the conference for Coach Kim Nelson, the head coach of Timpanogos, will end on the mound. So here is Sage Olson, who will stand in. Runners at first and second will get their leads. And right now, Timpanogos definitely playing to prepare for the bunt. Olson squares around, pickoff move, and they got him. They pick off the runner. That was Dylan Hall at second base. He gets picked off to get for the first out of the inning, and he was just a sitting duck on the pickoff move. The throw came, and by the time they could apply the tag, he was out. And with one gone here in the inning, Josh Dart, the only base runner for Spanish Fork on the base paths, as Sage Olson will stand in. We'll see here with one gone if the bunt is still going to be on. And the pitch on its way. Not bunting, and Olson lines a base hit into left field. Tennyson Pay comes up to play the baseball. The throw comes back into second, but Dart is on the base when the throw comes in. And Spanish Fork has back-to-back singles here in the seventh. And with one gone, we may have another pitching change here for Timpanogos. And right here, this kind of shows you how important Kim Nelson and company looks at this ball game, where they'll make the pitching change here. And they will give the ball over to number 1. That is Andrew Lopez, who will come in to pitch here. He will get, I believe it's going to be Riley Hess, will end up being the hitter here, as Hess will get ready to face the right-hander, who Lopez will take his warm-up tosses right now. And it's going to be Riley Hess, and then back to the top of the lineup, and Tay Newman. Looking ahead to the Timpanogos 7th, they'll have Tennyson Pay, Carter Wild, and then Zach Stick coming up. As right now, we'll see Riley Hess, who walked in his only plate appearance of the evening, will be the hitter here coming up for Spanish Fork. So Hess will be up. There will be runners on at first and second. Josh Dart at second. Over at first base will be Sage Olson. And right now, as Hess will make his way to the plate right here. Josh Dart at second, Sage Olson at first, as the right-hander Andrew Lopez takes over on the mound for Timpanogos. Riley Hess ready to stand in the box. He's ready to go. And the pitch on its way to Hess is swung out and missed. No balls and a strike to count here on Riley Hess. One gone here in the top of the seventh inning. 8-5 lead for Spanish Fork. Don's trying to hold on. It's the 0-1 pitch, fastball high, and it evens the count up at 1-1. The Dons could add a run or two of insurance here. It could be kind of nice to put some separation between the two teams. Heading into the bottom of the seventh inning, the 1-1 pitch inside and tight, and ducking out of the way there was Riley Hess. I think that was an attempted curveball that just never broke, as there you see the base runners for both teams right there, or for both base runners for Spanish Fork. The 2-1 pitch is going to come inside and tight, ball 3, and the count moves to 3-1 here on Riley Hess. Hess should see something good to hit here. And the 3-1 pitch on its way is going to be swung on, popped up, and that is going to end up landing just a couple of rows in front of me here in the press boxes. I was ready to make a play. I didn't have my glove, but 3 balls and 2 strikes as the pitch comes to Hess. That one is going to be in there, called strike 3. Riley Hess down on strikes, and there's 2 gone here in the top of the 7th inning. First strikeout for Andrew Lopez, and Tay Newman will come to the plate. Newman is 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and has scored 2 runs. And now we're going to have a runner, I think, out at second base. It will be Noah Conway, who will come in to run out at second base here for Josh Dart. So this is another one of those moves with 2 outs that you're trying to be very careful in case you do get a base hit, that you maximize the opportunity to score a run. The right-hander Lopez ready to go to work. And the pitch on its way, high and tight for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to count here on Tay Newman. Ready to go here with the 1-0 pitch, the wind and the delivery, and that one swung out and missed by Newman, and it evens the count up. 1 ball and 1 strike here. 2 gone in the top of the 7th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, and the pitch on its way home misses off the plate for a ball. It's 2-1 the count here on Tay Newman. Noah Conway there on your screen running over at second base, getting his lead. Shortstop playing a step behind him. Here's the 2-1 pitch, swung out and missed, and the count moves to 2-2 on Tay Newman. Andrew Pintar in the on-deck circle. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one low and outside, ball 3. And the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes here on Tay Newman. Runners can move with the pitch being delivered. And if that happens, you have to be careful. That runner at first is going to score on a ball in the gap or to the wall. Newman fouls it straight back. All of a sudden, that double down the line or a double in the gap can score a runner because they're getting a running start. After Newman fouls it back, we'll get everybody ready to go again. Here's the 3-2 pitch. On its way, it's popped up, lifted down the line. Going to be a long run, and no one will get there. So it goes into the Spanish Fork bullpen, and we'll again come back, and we'll have another 3-2 pitch as Conway and Sage Olson will get back to their bases. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. 8-5 lead for Spanish Fork, and that one's going to be a called strike 3. I think Tay Newman thought it was going to be ball 4. Instead, it's the second strikeout for Andrew Lopez. And what looked to be at first a great opportunity for Spanish Fork, the door gets shut down, and the Dons lead at 8-5 heading to the bottom of the 7th. The last chance here for Timpanogos. The Dons are trying to close it out. We'll find out here after we thank our sponsors what happens to the conclusion of this one. We want to thank MVP Sports, 2 Jacks Pizza, Mikkel Christiansen and Wise, attorneys at law, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Lance Wilson, State Farm Insurance, Dickerson Automotive, and Tony Basso Auto Group for making each and every broadcast possible throughout our high school baseball and softball season. That's generally what we do this time of year anyway. Football and basketball is behind us as Andrew Pintar, number 4, will try to close this one out for Spanish Fork. And we'll try to get the Dons to their second win down here. Their second win down here in St. George and split to go 2-2. Tay Newman will stay in the game, but he'll move over to short to replace Pintar, and Josh Dart will stay in the game over at third. So there's the changes for Spanish Fork as Timpanogos, they're going to send up Tennyson Pay, Carter Wild, and Zach Stick, who will come up here as they throw down to second base, and we will be set and ready to go here momentarily for the bottom of the 7th inning. We want to thank everybody here at Dixie State University and also over at Desert Hills High School for helping us and with their hospitality and kindness and getting us directed to where we can set up. We appreciate all the kindness and hospitality that has been shown to us over the course of the last 2 or 3 days that has really made this trip a little more smooth in the sense of we didn't have to worry about finding a whole bunch of stuff and where to go when we got here. First pitch, a called strike to Tennyson Pay. Pay lines this one right back up the middle into center field off Andrew Pintar. And Tennyson Pay gets his second base hit of the ball game. And that's a good way to start right now. If you're Timpanogos, you're looking for an opportunity to try to get something going. And now bring up Carter Wild, the third baseman. Wild is 1 for 3 with his 2 RBI double coming back in the first. Struck out to go along with a ground out. Pintar ready to go. The pitch on its way. Hit the other way and lined foul, and we'll do it again here with no ball and 1 strike to count here on Carter Wild. No balls at 1 strike to count, and the pitch on its way home. Misses low for a ball, and the count moves to 1-1. One ball, 1 strike to count here on the left-handed hitting third baseman Wild, and the pitch comes in right off the plate, but it's going to catch the corner for a strike. It's 1-2 here on Carter Wild. Pintar would love a ground ball here, turn 2 and get out of the jam. And the 1-2 pitch on its way is going to be rolled right back to Pintar. He's not even going to look at second. He'll just underhand toss to get the for sure out. Tennyson Pay will move up to second base, and there's 1 away. And that will bring up the first baseman, Zach Zwick. The first baseman here will stand in, wearing number 15. The first baseman will stand in. Zwick 0 for 1, grounded out to the shortstop, or the third baseman, his only plate appearance of the ball game. Right now, that runner out on at second doesn't mean much to Spanish Fork. And that one to be popped up and sent into the bleachers. Be 0-1 the count here on Zwick. On deck, Tyler Thomas has moved back into the on-deck circle. Here for Timpanogos. The 0-1 pitch, fastball right there again for strike 2. And it's 0-2 the count here on Zach Zwick. No balls and 2 strikes with 1 away. And the 0-1 pitch about ready to come home, and the delivery on its way. Fastball right off the plate, and the ball misses for ball 1. 1-2 the count here on Zach Zwick. Paxton Richards started the game, got a couple of at-bats, and then they went to Zach Zwick. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count, and the pitch on its way home, fouled straight back, and we'll do it again. Another 1-2 pitch coming here with 1 away in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Dons are a couple outs away from finishing this ball game off and closing out the Timberwolves. Tennyson Pay there at second base, getting his lead. The tying run is in the on-deck circle, and Tyler Thomas. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fouled straight back. We'll do it again. So Zwick doing a nice job staying alive in there and fouling pitches off and working counts. 1 ball and 2 strikes ready to go here. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Line drive hit foul. Look out. Some fans down there in one of the areas. The protective netting doesn't go all the way down the line, and some fans were standing just past the Spanish Fork dugout with some blankets on and quickly had to move to get out of the way of that one. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's popped up and sent foul back onto the fields here behind us over by the softball field. Both American Fork and Pleasant Grove are waiting on the other side of the playing field here, waiting for their opportunity to take the field. They've both finished warm-ups here a little while ago. The 1-2 pitch on its way. This one rolled foul, and we'll do it again. The 1-2 pitch. This game coming up on about 2.5 hours or so. And it got started early. It started 15 minutes earlier than they had scheduled. Here's the 1-2 pitch, about ready to come home, on its way, and this one is going to be fouled away again. So quite the battle going on here between Andrew Pintar and Zach Zwick. Zwick will tie his shoe and now get ready to stand back in. They'll get some new baseballs ran out to our home plate umpire. And now Zwick will step out here as Pintar will step off the mound. Our first game today for Spanish Fork was a game filled with a lot of pace and tempo, and this one has been kind of the opposite of the first. Pitch on its way, popped up. This may be play. It's not going to be playable. Into the first row of seats there onto the concourses. We'll get ready to do the 1-2 pitch over again here in a moment to Zach Zwick. So Pintar and Zwick battling it out here. I think this is probably close to pitch 10 of the at-bat. We'll see who wins the battle here, and the 1-2 pitch on its way. Called strike 3. Andrew Pintar will win the battle, and that's the second out of the inning, and Timpanogos is down to their final out, and it will be Tyler Thomas, who was the starting pitcher today, who will come up here and hit with 2 outs in the inning. So Thomas will stand in, ready to go. And the first pitch on its way is low for ball 1. It's 1 ball and no strikes the count here on Tyler Thomas. Dallin Earl, if the inning continues past Thomas, in the on-deck circle getting loose. Here's the 1-0 pitch on its way, and that one missing off the plate for ball 2. It's 2 balls and no strikes the count here on Tyler Thomas. The tying run represented in the on-deck circle for Timpanogos. Here's the 2-0 pitch. About ready to come home, and that one misses low ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes as Josh Cowden will take a couple steps out in front of home plate before giving the ball back to Andrew Pintar. Here's the 3-0 pitch on its way home. Inside corner, missed ball 4, and the tying run will come to the plate here in the 7th inning. Dallin Earl will be the hitter, who's 2 for 3 in the ball game, and we'll have a runner. It will be Nick Slater, who I believe is going to run here for Tyler Thomas over at first base. So Earl has a double back in the 2nd, a single on the 6th, and he's flown out to center back in the 4th. Earl represents the tying run, has plenty of speed in case he gets on base as the tying run. Pintar ready to go and delivers the first pitch, and that one's going to miss for ball 1. It's 1 ball and no strikes here on Earl. Lights beginning to take effect of a good portion of the field here at Brucehurst Field in St. George. 1 ball and no strikes the count, and the pitch on its way home is going to be a high chopper on the infield. Right back to Pintar. He'll throw over to first. The throw was low, but scooped out by Lee, and the ball game is over. Spanish Fork will win by a final of 8-5 here from Brucehurst Field in St. George. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap this one up. We'll have our MVP Sports MVP of the game. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
Hi, welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Come to Dickerson Automotive for all your car repair and maintenance needs. Now is a great time to make sure your car is ready for these cold winter months. We take the time to get to know you and your car to give you peace of mind. Dickerson Automotive, located way north on Main and Spanish Fork.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Wild Mustangs. They're supposed to be one of the most gentle creatures in nature.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these. That's why more people save money by combining their home and auto with State Farm.
Call State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Christiansen, and Wise.
Well, we welcome everybody here to Brucehurst Field, where it is starting to rain here at Dixie State. You can see some storm clouds off in the distance. The Spanish Fork gets it done by a final score of 8-5. The Dons used a big second inning to score 4 runs to really open this ball game up, but really had to fight in the 5th, 6th, and 7th. The pitching puts up zeros. The offense scores just enough to find a way to get it done, and the Dons finish the tournament down here, the Red Rock Classic, with a 2-2 record, picking up wins over teams from higher classifications, which should set them off to a good portion here of their season with an 8-5 victory. Tonight's MVP Sports MVP of the game goes to Andrew Pintar, who had a 2-run single back in that 4-run second inning for Spanish Fork. Also walked in the 6th and scored a run, and then came in to kind of shut the door down in the 7th inning as a couple of men gets on base, and he's able to get 2 strikeouts gets a strikeout and then the game-ending ground out to end the ball game. Spanish Fork wins 8-5. We've had a lot of fun down here in St. George, covering both Spanish Fork and Maple Mountain. It's been a fun couple of days for us down here. Thank you to everybody that's made this trip possible, including everybody here at Dixie State University and also at Desert Hills High School. We hope everybody has a good rest of their night. We look forward to seeing you again next time. We have more high school baseball here on Spanish Fork 17. For our entire Spanish Fork Community Network team here in St. George, I'm Ryan Pickens saying so long. Have a great night, everybody.